And we're live on YouTube. Sorry for the delay. We had a... What does this mean? Oh yeah, there we go. We had a little last minute phone call. We had to take it. But hey, we made it. And YouTube didn't give us any guff. And Spectrum is being really good. And we're live. Let's share the stream. 1 second. We're going to get started. Just a second. We're going to get started in just a second. Does it still show the wrong thumbnail? Hold up. Edit. Oh, shit. Cancel. Stream settings have moved. Click the edit button below. Okay. Where does it show our thumbnail? No, I updated it. Yo. YouTube just needs more time. It just needs more time to send the right thumbnail out. Maybe we give it a second before we send those links out. Because I want it to show the right thumbnail. Because it's still showing the clouds of rain one from yesterday to me. But maybe it's updated to other people. We got Vino here. What's up, Vino? Skepsis D's here. Alexander Crowley. How's it going? Mr. Crowley. Shout out sweet Papa Bear. Assumed identity. How's it going? What's up, Poca Latte? Cool. All right, let's try to share again. Hey, it updated. Twitter. Go to Twitter. Tweet this. Tweeters out. Give it the good old twits. The twitty twits. Twits. Okay. Just a bunch of political stuff. Nothing I want to mention on Twitter. Okay. Blech. Copy this link. Close this. Oh, wait. Yeah, close this. Boom. Oh, I have to do a thing. I did it. Oh, gosh. There's a problem here. I'm going to click on this. Boom. Stream starting soon. This is just for reasons, reasons of the seasons. And I do the thingings, bitching things. And I click over here, and we move stuff around. And then we go here to official. And we do this. Bam! Sorry about your ears. And publish. 4 servers. You guys are awesome. Whoever's forking the official content on their server, I love you. I love you so much. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. It's also a good way to stay connected. Yeah, you could, I don't know, should I fork self-promo? We'll take that. Because, I mean, it'll be a lot more spammy. I don't know if other people will be able to click the publish button if I do it like that, though. I'm not sure. We'll see. Okay, let's go to No Cam live scene. Bam. Also refresh chat. Thank you so much. Hold up. We'll get that. All chats, turn it off and turn it back on. Uploads thumbnail, YouTube. Which thumbnail do we show you? Just pick a random one. No, for real though? They do that. It takes like 5 minutes. If I don't have it like set up for 5 minutes beforehand, which I should, and I usually do, but sometimes stuff happens and you have to take the calls. Are you ready, T? Because I'm about to click that record button.
Yeah, I'm ready.
How's it going, everybody? I am Drifty from Driftwood Gaming, and I'm joined with the lovely, beautiful, talented apple of my eye, T.
Hello.
And today we're going to be chilling and talking about RPG Maker like we do. We have a first impressions tomorrow, but today we're going to be working on Drift Clicker RPG and other stuff and answering questions. So if you have any questions about RPG Maker, put them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer all of your inquiries to the best of our ability. And if we don't have the answer, we'll point you in the right direction of someone who may have the answer. I forgot to plug this in. Hold on. Oh, did you guys hear that? Doo-doo. Let me turn this up, get this going. We've been like butter scraped over too much bread this past couple months, but things are looking up, and it's going to work out. T, can you give me a good sample? Ooh, let's listen to what that sounds like. You ready? If I go...
It's probably not good.
There's really no, tone to that,
Yeah.
So no matter what button I press, it all sounds
I'm
the
not
same.
good at making samples.
It's
You're
okay.
the sample guy.
I gotta do it. Thank you for joining the stream. You guys are amazing, and I hope you have a good time chilling with us on the stream. Please ask us any questions you have about RPG Maker. Okay, bye. Thank you for joining the stream. You guys are amazing, and I hope you have a good time chilling with us on the stream. Please ask us any questions you have about RPG Maker. Do you know of a live day and night cycle for RPG Maker? Mr. Crowley? Can I call you Mr. Crowley? Mr. Crowley!
Yeah.
We could make a day-night cycle right now. It would be a fun little diversion. Let's do that. Let's make a day-night cycle. What's up, Kip? Skepsis? Alexander? And Sebja. Hi, guys. Did anyone get to make an export for Mac? You know, I don't have a Mac device, so I feel like I am not qualified to really say if it works or if it doesn't work and whatnot. Sorry about that. I mean, does anybody here use RPG Maker on Mac? And what do you mean make an export? Like export a game to Mac? Wouldn't you just go to deployment and then click Mac OS and hit OK? Does that not work? I would try that. File, deploy, and then click Mac OS operating system and hit OK. That should work to play the game. If that's what you mean, export for Mac. Otherwise, you know, I did see, maybe T can help clarify. She's the Dejica person here. On the website, there was, you know, it said that it lists it for Mac, but then if you scroll down, it doesn't show you the system requirements on the website.
Does now.
They updated that?
It was updated, yep.
Okay, that's really good because it was confusing. It's like, well, is it for Mac or is it only Mac on Steam? So the standalone is also available for Mac OS, right?
No.
So if you want to play the Mac version, you have to get it on Steam.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. So if you are a Mac user, you need to download it by buying it off of Steam.
Or, no, you can buy, here's the thing, you can buy the standalone version if you like, and use the key that you get with the standalone version and activate it on Steam. So you can absolutely buy the standalone version and still use it on Mac, but you have to activate it through Steam
forgot about
first.
that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Shame on me. You can, because when you buy it from the Dejica shop, you are given an activation key, which you can put right into Steam to activate your product. So you still might want to buy it on the Dejica shop to have 2 copies, and you can, but the thing is, your standalone version will not run Mac.
Right, it won't run on Mac, and you don't technically get 2 copies. It's the same key for your Steam key and the standalone. But if you had a Windows computer, you could activate your standalone version on the Windows computer and your Steam version on your Mac computer.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're allowed to have it on 2 machines at one time.
Right, so you don't have 2 copies, like you can't buy one and give one to your friend.
Right.
Because it will turn off.
You'll be giving away your key.
You'll be giving away your own key.
Right.
But you can put it on like your laptop and your desktop. Mm-hmm. So if you're working on your project and then you come home and you transfer files,
right,
that would make sense for a lot of people because a lot of people are on the go.
Yep. So there's still a lot of benefit to getting it off of the Dejica shop.
TLDR by RPG Maker MZ. Thank you for joining. Okay. Oh, we got a lot of questions coming in. This is good. Let me minimize this because it's getting distracting to me. And now the chat's up. It's going. Let's start off. We were going to do a time system, a quick, very, very basic live day and night cycle for Alexander Crowley. Okay, so let me just start this and write it in a common event. We'll say day-night. I don't really plan to make a day-night system in my game, but I can show you how to make one in your game, and it's really easy. Moving on to the question. We'll come back to this.
Sebja, one thing to consider is that if you're trying to deploy to Mac, especially if you're using Windows to develop, Windows has like fail-safes for certain file name formats that Mac doesn't. If you have spaces in your file names, it won't work on Mac. If you have special characters in your file names, it won't work on Mac. So in order to get it to work on Mac, you may have to go through and rename your file names. And if you have to do that, you also have to go into your game and re-specify the file paths afterwards. So it can be a huge pain in the butt if that's what you need to do. The lesson would be, when you start your project, if you plan on deploying to Mac, make sure that the file names that you're using are compatible with both Mac and Windows.
Right. Well put. Thank you, team. So here's a question. I mean, it's kind of a bad question, I agree, but it's. I guess we're going to take it anyway. Zen Jester asks, what's a realistic time frame to make a game? And then he goes in to say, obviously, it depends on the scope, so it's kind of a bad question. I agree. But if you're 100% solo, it could take a lot longer than you think, because you have to put together an MVP as fast as possible. You want to make your minimum viable product as soon as you possibly can, as quick as you can. And so what would you need to do that? Well, you need your engine, right? And then you have your engine, then you're going to create your temporary programmer art files. So you quickly go get a sprite or something, and you make a bunch of boxes, or you could do it in whatever you want as long as you save it as a PNG with alpha data. And so you make your programmer art. And you can use the generator, and if you plan to do that, you can switch it up. So don't put too much custom into your MVP until you've got the whole project put up together. It really, really does depend on how big of a game, because you could make a simple game that it just has like one map and one fight, and that could be a game, and that could be done in an hour. Or you can make it, hours long, and it could take you months to years to make it. So there's really no good, straightforward answer. Just remember that you have to wear all the hats. The good thing about using RPG Maker, though, is you don't have to make sprites, really. You can use the ones that come with it. You don't have to make your sound effects, because it comes with a bunch of them. You don't have to make your backdrops and your battle systems. Really, if you want to make a game in RPG Maker just as quick as possible, you can literally, within a matter of minutes, create a game, because everything is already there. Is it going to be fun and unique? Probably not very much so. So it depends on how good of a game you want to make. I hope that answers your question. It's such a broad question. You need to narrow the question down to be more specific, and would give you a more specific answer. I'm reading. Many Mac users also require a plugin, says Vino, that modifies the save environment, because most Macs disallow save files from being used inside the folder itself. Also, a thing about save is if you're going to Enigma box or encrypt by an external third-party program, you would have to save the folder before you do the packaging. So you have to make sure you do like one save file in there. That way it has the file is already created, because once you try to create a file if you try to create a file inside of an Enigma box that's encrypted, well, it's not going to let you. And so then you won't be able to save your game at all. So if you want them to save using third-party encryption, you would have to package the file with the save file in it. Now, once the file is created, it can be modified, but it definitely can't be created. It goes against some of the encryption settings, basically through the default settings of Enigma box. You can probably change those. I haven't gone too much into encryption. But yeah, you definitely want to do some basic encryption. And to do basic encryption, it's easy in RPG Maker MZ. When you go to deploy, you click on encrypt images and audio, and you can even put a password to that if you want to. I would be wary with exclude unused files unless you're not using many plugins that affect anything, as far as like looking for like weapon graphics or something, because it will exclude all of those files even though you need them. I would not use this box, and I would manually remove stuff. It takes a lot more time, and you have to keep track of your project. So if you've been working on your project for 2 years and it's a big bloated mess, well, I don't know. It might be really hard to do. You can start by doing this and then play test the crap out of it, and then see where you crash and bring in those files manually, and then try it again and see where you crash. Use every skill, use every possible select choice, and use every plugin command. Use all of the things when you're playtesting the game to see if you're missing a file if you do this, because this can remove files that your game actually does need, and it can crash. What packaging tool would you recommend if you were to deploy your game? I would say use a deployment based here. Obviously, you're going to deploy through the engine itself. I would not exclude these. Like I said, I would do them manually. I would encrypt both of these with a key, and then I would take that package and I would download probably Enigma box, but I would also run a save game I would try to save the game before I put. So do this first, and then play your own game, right? Launch it, test to see that it works, and play test it. When you're sure that it works, create a save file. So put something in save slot 1, like at the very beginning of the game, or maybe a save slot 20 or whatever. Just create a save file, and then once you've created a save file and close the project, Enigma box that package. And I would probably use Enigma box. There's probably better. I don't know. I've only used Enigma box. Vino says never use exclude unused files. Remove them manually yourself. I agree with that. Thank you for the answer. It's helped given what little I gave you to work with. How do you implement a button input system similar to Super Mario RPG and Mario Luigi? That's a good question. Okay, so now I have a couple systems. I need to start with the day-night real quick. Let's do that system, button input system. This one's actually very easy. I could take this one first. So a button input system, you're going to be using a plugin from Vigistella. And you get the core engine, which you can get for free. And then this one may be a paid plugin. Where's it at? Button Common Events. So you're going to get this plugin right here. I don't know what it costs. It's like $5 or something. It's worth it. Get it if you want to do it right. Just do things. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, You just support people who carefully make wheels. Is that never mind. And it's simple to use. You select the key that you want the button to. Say you want it to be, I don't know, the J button to jump. I don't know, whatever you want to use, spacebar or whatever. So when they press J, you can say what common event you want to pop up. So you can tie your entire system to jumping. Or you can tie the common event to whichever button you want. So you can have one common event to handle it all, but with the plugin, you're basically going to just make the common event do what you want it to do. So let's show you what I would do here. So button input system, which for this case we're going to use the example of jumping and the button J. And show button, you can look at all these to change more JS positioning. There's a lot you can do with it. You don't really have to do too much with the plugin. You just select the common event you want to use on the button you want. Go into your common events and say, do your jumping however you want to do your jumping. If you're going to do it through movement route or you'd say jump. How much do you want to jump? Let's say X of 2. And then, you jump up 2. And so then the player, you could say this has to be in the player. I would say skip if cannot move, that way, and not wait for completion. That way, if you hit a wall, it doesn't lock up the game. And then boom, jump. So when you press J, you'll jump up 2. Now, it's up to you to decide how you make your maps, but this is simply how you would make a button input system. So when they press the button, it does a thing. So now all you'd have to do is design your common event to do what you want it to do, and then link it to the button. So simple. Does that answer your question? If you need to be more specific, and you can keep asking. I'm reading. Is there a way to add a % sign to actor HP in battle if I'm limiting all HP to 100? Yeah, absolutely. You're going to want to use a plugin. This is you actually don't even have to pay for it. This is a plugin that you can get for free. I have the Pro Edition, which costs $40, but I think it's worth it. But here's the thing. For what you're asking, you don't really need to buy the professional edition. You can use the free version that SRD has on his website, and you're going to go to the Battle HUD. And you see how you have this little setup right here of components? All you would do here is put in what you want it to say. So if you're limiting all of their HP to be 100, and then like 1 is all in percentage, then you would use the number here, and in front of it you can create another component. So we would add another component, and we could just put in text component, and this will be % sign, whatever you want to call it. This is irrelevant. What it's going to say here is simply a %. It's just going to say plain text %, and you're going to tie this to a group. So you can move them all. You don't actually have to make a group, but it's easier to do this. Select the font you want, the size you want, and it really doesn't need to do anything else. Display conditions, if you don't put a condition, it'll just always show. So on this point, all you do is bring in the % sign and put it in. And if I want to see right now, if I move the group, the percent doesn't follow it. But if I want to link it, I can just right click and move this and drag it to wherever I want. So anywhere in here, and it'll link to it. So now the whole thing moves. Of course, I can manually move it and say percentage. And you can turn off and turn on the snap, and you can also resize however you want, like so. So now I'm not using 100, so it's going to look weird because 123%. This I'm using the actual text of the enemy's actual number, enemy health number. However, you like you said, you already limit all their HP to 100, so it'll only be from 0 to 100. So now when you're going battle, you'll see that there'll be a percent sign in front of the HP. And it comes default. This setting right here, everything is all default when you get the Hud Maker Ultra. So you remember, you'll just go to Battle HUD. If you want to make your own HUDs like I have with the button here, you'll have to get the Pro version. But for simple thing that you asked about adding a percent sign, you just get Hud Maker Ultra and use the free version and add a component to the thing that already exists like I just did. I'm going to delete it now because I don't want a percent sign. It doesn't make sense in my game. But, there you go. It's easy. Okay, I got to get to... Let's just save this project. There was another question, the day-night system. We're going to do that real quick. Let me read. Sebja says, thank you so much. Your tutorials are amazing. Always super. You're welcome, Sebja. Thanks for watching. Button combat events is affordable and absolutely worth getting. I agree. Spacebar is my go-to jump button. No problem, Kip. Yeah, it is simple. It's pretty easy because it's already set up for you. You literally just add component, text, put a name for it, and then give percent sign, and literally move it manually and resize it manually until you like the way where it looks. That's the beauty to this program right here. You get to move it by the way it's just got a really good interface. The interface is gorgeous and it's fun to use because it's graphical, and you can assign stuff to a group and move all of your components at once, and I like it. I really do. If anyone ever needs help with Hud Maker Ultra, feel free to ping me on Discord. Vino, as you may or may not know, it has been like the longest beta tester, as far as I know, for Hud Maker. So this is a program made by SR Dude, and Vino was working with him for, I guess, months before its release to beta test and get all the feature ideas and help smooth out any bugs before it gets released. So it didn't get released with a bunch of bugs. I'm sure there's probably still some bugs. Every plugin is going to have bugs right now. But it'll get smoothed out, I'm sure. And if you do find bugs, you can report them to Vino, or you can report them to SR Dude. He does have a Discord server, but you have to find the secret link. It's on his website. Okay, let's go back to... I'm going to delete this one before I get my project too convoluted. It's already getting convoluted, but that's okay. It's a fun thing to do because you get to look at a lot of different aspects of game dev. So we're going to make a day-night system. What's the most basic? Well, do we want to tent screens? We can do that. Let's just do the basic core system and keep track of a number using the Hud Maker. Again, I'm going to use the Hud Maker. Ah, delicious. Water. Refreshing water. So basically all you need is a variable and a parallel process event. You're going to use a switch to turn it on. Let's create a switch. We'll make it a parallel process and we'll toggle it with a switch, and we'll call this the day-night system. It'll be the most basic day-night system you've ever seen. And I have a common event that runs on initialization. So initialize new game, I can do a bunch of stuff right off the bat, and I will turn on a switch. So let me copy this, paste this, and edit it, and go right here and say day-night system on. Okay. So when I start a new game, this will run, and that's being handled through a plugin. If you're wondering, how do I even do that? The core engine will do that for you. It's somewhere in here. Let me find it. Quality of life setting, maybe? Yes, you click on the core engine, which is free. This is an absolutely free one. Just go to visustellamz.itch.io, I believe, or it's visustella.itch.io. They have two of them, so I forget which one is which. But anyway, you download the whole sample project. You copy the plugins from their JS folder, and then you paste them into your game's JS folder. You can go to Game, Open Folder, and see it. Double-click on JS, and then paste them in there, and then go to your plugin manager and double-click and add them, right? Simple. Then you open it up, and you click on Quality of Life Settings, and you can scroll down to New Game, and then right here, you can select what common event you want to run upon starting a new game. So then you can, you don't have to worry about making your event on the map run every time you want to test something else, you switch to another map, you have to copy that event. It was a hassle in MV. So this is a very cool, it's a simple feature, but it's a very, very useful one. So I love it, and I'm going to keep talking about it so people can realize that you want to do an initialization event, common event, that happens upon creating a new game. And you can do that under the quality of life settings right here. Boom. Sorry if I'm repeating it a lot, but it's really important to know. And not everybody's on your level. So if you feel like I'm going slow, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, day-night system. Easy. Super easy. We turn on a switch, which we did, day-night system, when we start a new game. So this switch means this common event will run a parallel process, which happens every frame of the game. It'll try to do every frame of the game if it can, if this switch is on. So this switch will be on. So as soon as the game starts, as long as you're not currently in a menu or in battle. Now, show text doesn't count as menu, only like your scene menu, like you're pressing escape and you see your characters equip, items, blah, blah, blah. That's a menu. That will pause these types of common events. If you're in a battle or a fight, it will also pause these types of common events. So you get into battle, time will basically stop until the battle's over, and then you go back to scene map. And while you're on scene map, even if you have a show text or a gab window, scene map will keep running this parallel process. So it's important to distinguish when time is actually passing. So if you press escape and go pee and you're in the menu, time is not going to pass. So you come back, you press escape, time is going to resume once you're walking around on the map again. You get into a fight, time is going to stop. Regardless, now that this is set up and you understand how it works and how to start it, I'm going to get your questions in a second, Sebja. So you create a variable and call it whatever you want. I would just call it night system. And what we want to do is control it, and we want to add one to it. So every frame of the game that is this parallel is running, it's going to add one to the common event. And it tries to do it only once per each frame. Typically, the game is going to be throttled to 60 frames per second. This is good because now we can control how long it takes for things to happen based on a very specific number. What do you think is the most useful new feature that MZ has at the moment? Do you think it's worth the price? I would say the most useful new feature is the plugin command, because if you go to page 3 under advanced, you click on plugin command, you don't have to remember every plugin's dev's syntax and spelling, and because plugin commands in MV are very verbatim, you have to put them in the right way, you have to space them, and plugin commands in MV is like plugin function execute code space 17 space 12 space 11 space 1 space 0 space 2, and you're like, what the fuck do all these parameters mean? I don't understand. It's very hard, even for someone who's really advanced with RPG Maker, to remember each plugin dev syntax. So hands down, the most useful feature that they've done with MV to MZ is the integration of a plugin command window instead of a simple little shitty box. Now you select the plugin that has the plugin commands in it, you hit OK, and you click on command name, and a list of options will populate in this drop-down menu. It may look different depending on your settings. It may be the way that variables show. Sometimes it depends on how many there are as well. I have it set to smart, but regardless, you'll be able to see options in here, regardless of how it looks. It'll be a drop down or like the way that it shows my variables and stuff, like 0 to 20, 20 to 24, 21 to 40, you know what I mean? So this is the best feature. This is the best upgrade. Now, a lot of people might argue that I didn't forget you. What's up, Ecoman? How you doing? In all 17 of your accounts. What's up, Vero? So some people might argue that the show animation is the best feature. I think it's a good step in the right direction. I don't think it is the best feature. I think a simple thing as this plug-in command menu is the greatest thing that I've seen so far. Besides some other like smaller things that I mean, there's a lot that I love about it, but you asked for one and I gave you one, so there you go. No problem, Kip. Back to the day-night system. We understand how it works, how it starts. All you need is a variable and a switch turn on, initialization event, free plugins. What's up, Joshua? No problem. So now we know we can control how long it's going to take for something to happen. Well, 60 frames goes in a second, and we're going to get our calculator for this, and we want 60 seconds to pass before we calculate a minute. Or 60 frames to go by before we calculate a second. So we can go as advanced as we want. We can keep track of each second. We can keep track of every minute. We can keep track of every hour. In fact, I will do that just to demonstrate how you would go about doing that. Well, it's easy to see. 60 frames a second equals, if you divide that by 60, you're going to get 1. So if you want to tell how long it's taken for 1 second, then when this variable hits 60, you reset it and add 1 to another variable. So let's make a few more variables. Let's make 1 for second, 1 for hour, one for minute, 1 for whatever else. So let's go ahead and do a control variable. Actually, we'll do a conditional branch. We'll see if this variable is greater than equal to 60, then we're going to create an else branch. Actually, no, we don't need to. We'll just reset it right here. It's easier without any nesting. So if it is greater than equal to 60, then what we're going to do is set this variable back to 0, set it to 0, and we're going to control another variable. We're going to create our second variable. We know 60 frames have passed, so this is going to be called day, night, second. Day, night, sys, second. And we're going to add 1 to it. Simple as that. Then what we can do is kind of copy this and paste it underneath it. And then we'll say, if this day, night, second, actually, we're going to change this to say, if the, day, night, second is greater than equal to 60, because there's 60 seconds in a minute, then what we're going to do is create another variable. This one will be, we're going to add 1 to a new variable, day, night, sys, minute. Boom. And then we're going to add 1 to that. All these variables are going to start at 0. Someone here? All these variables will start at 0, so you don't have to do any initialization on those, really. And then we copy this. We do the same thing for when we want to make an hour happen. I'm using the wrong variable here. This is not. This is supposed to be the second, the system variable. So this is our raw system counter. We're going to control this one to go back to 0 so that it starts this over again. So when it hits 60, it's going to set it to 0 and add 1 to a different variable. Then we're going to check that different variable. If that different variable is greater than equal to 60, then we're going to set that variable to 0. Do we set it to 1 here? No, we set it to 0. And then we add 1 to a minute counter. And then we check that minute counter. If the minute counter is greater than equal to 60 minutes in an hour, then what we're going to do is we're going to add a new variable here. This will be our day, night, sys, hour. And we will set our minutes to 0. And then we'll do the same thing, except now we won't use 60, right? We're going to use paste. We're going to set the hours to 24. So we'll say greater than equal to 24. We'll create our new variable, or we'll use the hour one. So if the hour is greater than equal to 24, we'll make the day. Let's go. Like this. Set the hour back to 0. And add 1 to our day-night system day. This is just a basic bare bones how you would keep track of time. And then once you have the time set up, you run another thing that controls those variables. Now let me start from the top and see if I've messed up at all. the game starts, the switch turns on, this parallel starts. Every frame of the game, we're adding 1 to this variable. When that hits 60, which is it will add 1 every frame. So that means 60 frames in a second, which is capped, unless you're running some other type of faster hertz or something. But they've fixed that in MZ. It was a problem in MV. You needed to sync monitor FPS because it would run the clock at 2.4x speed. But that's not the problem in MZ, so it's another reason to upgrade. They did fix that in a later update, and plugins also fixed that in MV. So it's also not a big problem in MV anymore. Moving on, side tangent. If that day-night system frames is over 60 or 60 or greater, then set it to 0 and add 1 to a second. Then we keep track of the seconds. Have the seconds ticked past 60 if they have, or equal to, hit 60 or past it. Now you can just say equal to, but if for some reason there's a problem, it's better just to say if it ever gets over it, it just pushes it off by 1, and it's just a weird glitch. It's just a safety net. So we leave it. We use greater than equal to instead of just equal to. However, equal to should work 99.9% of the time. Day-night system, second is set to 0 because it's already been ticked over and we need to start the count again, and then it adds 1 to a minute. In fact, we might actually do greater than equal to 50. No, 60 is what we want to use, yeah. 59 is not, it's not 60, it's not 1 and it's not 59, it's 60. And so then we check the minute. If the minutes are greater than equal to 60, we're going to set the minutes to 0 and add 1 to an hour. Then we check the hour. If the hour is greater than equal to 24, we're going to set the hours to 0 and add 1 to the day. How many days do you want in a month? Do you want to say 30 days? It's just up to you, however you want to do this. Your calendar on your fantasy planet could be completely different. Let's say 30. So what we'll do is, if our day-night system day is greater than equal to 30, what we're going to do is set that day-night system day to 0, and we're going to add 1 to a month. You can say weeks if you want to, but if you typically don't count. When you tell someone what day of the month it is, do you say October, the second week of this, October 2nd, the first week of October? You usually don't say week, so we're gonna skip week and we're gonna go day to month, because we're gonna say this day of this month, right? So I know there's a week in between here, but it's unnecessary when you're presenting because of our comfortable conventions that we've just accepted. So we're going to skip the week and say, oh, no, shit, not this one. Day stays the same. We kind of just copy this and paste it in here, and we are going to say month, day to month. That's all we really need. And we'll stop. You know what? We can go to year. Why not? Let's push it. And we're going to set the month to, here's the thing about month. There is no month 0. So month is a different one. Also, there is no day 0. Right? There's only day 1. So we might set the day back to 1 instead of 0. You got to go with what people accept as a reality. So we'll do it like this. And this also means in our initialization event, we need to set some of these variables to their default values of if they're not 0. So for day, we're going to take day and put that in our initialization, which we already set up and I explained, right? Paste it over here, and we're going to set it to 1. Instead of adding, we're going to set it to 1. So that way we don't start on day 0, we start on day 1. And you can change these numbers if you want to start on a day 0 or you want to start on day 6. You can start whatever day you want, really. We'll start on day 1, and then once it ticks over, we go back to day 1, and we add 1 to the month. The same thing with the month. We're not going to start on month 0, so let's go ahead and do that little bit. It's a good reason to go farther with it. You can see more of the stuff. Instead of adding to 1, we're not going to add. We're going to set it to 1 at the beginning. But you can see what's happening, I hope, by now. Now we just have to find a way to... Alexander Crowley says, thanks, Drifty. That really helps with my game. Will this system lag out older computers? No, it should not. It should not bother. This system by itself shouldn't take up much resource. It's just adding to a number, which the game does billions of those, can do billions of those in a second if you have even a dual-core processor. So it really shouldn't affect anything. I mean, technically, it does consume processing power. Everything you do consumes processing power, but it's really just adding to a variable and running a check once every frame. Now, if you had like 1,000 of these systems all working at the same time, they might have some lag on older computers, but probably not really. Yeah. And you could also add a wait 1 to like reduce how long it happens. Like say it was lagging you. You don't really need to do it every frame. You can start it off. You can start it off with a wait 1 or wait 2, or let's say you can like stagger these so that it stops the processing and it doesn't do it every frame. It does it every 10 frames. So you can say wait 10 frames and then reduce all of these numbers down a bit. So you would have to multiply everything by 10 and change the way that it displays it, and also reduce and then run a math calculation. So would that make it more optimal? It actually would. However, because it wouldn't run it wouldn't run 60 times every second. It would only run 6 times a second. So it would run some calculations in there. So it wouldn't be 6 times or 10 times more optimal, but it would still be more optimal. But it's less easy to understand if you do it that way. And because we can calculate billions of calculations a second behind the scenes, there's no real reason to do that unless you're encountering some optimization problems. So you can further optimize it if you want to, but this is it's written out so beautiful this way. It's so clean and easy, and it's not really going to provide. It's not going to really add any extra lag besides a minuscule of unnoticeable calculations going on in the background. But yeah, you could further optimize this with some weights and stuff. Sure, you'd have to change the numbers around, of course. Let's stop. Do you want to go with years? Let's go with years. We're going to do one more. We'll copy this. And then we won't have to set years back, right? So, hold on. We have frame, second, minute, hour, day. This one would be month. So if our months are greater than equal to, you want to do 12, we'll do 12. Then what we'll do is say set. We won't actually have to set the month back to, oh yeah, we do. Set the month back to 1, obviously. Boom, boom. And then we set the year. We make another one. Day, night, sys. It'll take a very long time for it. It would literally take a year in game. So you don't need to go this far. I'm just exaggerating because I think it's, you get the point. So we'll add 1 to the year. And since we're going to do that, we're not going to start on year 0. You know what? You could start on year 0, but let's just start on year 1. So we'll copy this. Year 1, and we'll go to our initialization event and do one more. Boom. We'll start on year 1. Of course, we're not going to add to it here. At the start initialization, we're just going to set. So we're setting everything on day 1, month 1, year 1, but minutes, seconds, and hours start at 0. Yeah, that works. Because actually, midnight is 0. In military time, it's 0001, and it switches to... That's how it counts. So we're going to use 0. I'm going to read some more comments. I just want to finish this system because it's harder to, when I break away and come back, it's hard to remember what the hell I'm doing. So I think it's actually quicker. I'm going to read some more comments in just a second. But you can see our day-night system starts when we start a game, initialize a new game, turns on a switch, parallel process starts. It keeps track of the frame. Every 60 frames, it adds to a second. Every 60 seconds, it adds to a minute. Every 60 minutes, it adds to an hour. Every 24 hours, it adds to a day. Every 30 days, it adds to a month. And then every 12 months, it adds to a year. So we've got all that, and it's happening in the background, right? But how do we display that to the player? Well, let's insert the Hud Maker again, because this is kind of a cure-all for a lot of situations. We're going to use the built-in map HUD, which is on by default. I think I turn it off, and I display the button HUD. So maybe I'll want to do it on the button HUD. Yeah, I'm going to use it on the button HUD, but what you would do is put it on the map HUD, because you won't be able to add more HUDs unless you have the $40 version. A super chat, $6.75 from Assumed Identity. Any word on Tirac sliding for MZ? Bruh, I hope, I wish. I have not heard anything, but that would be great.
There is some relevant information, and it can be hard to find. No, because it was started in MV, but there's something called the Community Lighting plugin, and it actually works for both MV and MZ. And what they did was take Tirac's lighting plugin features and add to it. Actually, let me put the link in the chat. This is free. And you're encouraged to add to it if you're, code savvy. Oops, wrong button. Just a second here. I know how to computer. There we go. So this is the community lighting plugin, and it works for MZ. And apparently, I've only skimmed over the thread, but apparently it has all the features of Terrax, or most of the features of Terrax, plus some. So definitely worth checking out. I haven't checked it out myself, but it looks pretty cool. Vino, you didn't know about this? What? I was positive you knew about it. I was like, I better say this before Vino does. Vino didn't know about this.
Bruh.
Bruh.
Didn't know about this?
Bruh.
Is he trolling us? I don't believe that.
So yeah, there it is. It's not Terrax, but from what I'm seeing, it's maybe even better.
Awesome. So yeah, actually, let's look more into that after this. We'll write it down.
Haven't had time to play with it
I know,
yet.
there's so much to do. I can't wait to really get back into it, It's going to happen.
Yes.
It's going to happen with fiber optics, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to use the Hud Maker to display the variables on screen. You don't have to do this. There's other ways you could do this, but I'll tell you what, it'll be a lot more clunky without it. So download the free version of Hud Maker Ultra to show your time system. Let's just make a very basic one. You would do this in the map HUD if you're using the free version. I created a different HUD, so I'm not using the map HUD. I'm using the button HUD instead. So I'm going to create a new list. So down here, I'm going to add a new component, and it's going to be text. And in this text, it's going to say day, night, sys. And what this text will say is, I guess, this is going to be our holder. It's just going to hold. It's just going to hold it. Day, nights, no, wait. What do we want it to say? No, we don't want it to say day, night system. What we'll have it say is year. Maybe we caps lock this. Year. Yeet. Year, month, day, and then hour, minute, second. You could get more fancy with it, and you don't have to do all of this in one. I'm doing this very quickly. Oh my gosh. It's too much. It's too much going on. Let's check it. Let's try a different font. Let's use a different font. I love that you can use whatever fonts and multiples and stuff. So for I might need to install a few more fonts here. Let's just try this one. Font size, let's do 48. Font outline size, let's just do 2. And then, yeah, that's fine. It kind of gets a little weird because I put so much text in it. Let's just do 2 of them. Let's do year, month, day for 1. This will make it look better. Yeah, you can see it looks way better. So we don't want it to be too big. It's also not the right font, but let's find a different font. This is all arbitrary. You don't necessarily have to. Let's actually do smaller. We don't want to take up too much real estate. Outline 3 since we went smaller. Confirm. Year, month, day. I like that. That's really good. So we'll do year, month, day. And then what I'll do is just copy this and paste it and go here and go like this. Double click it and change this to say hour. Minute. Second. You really don't need to do this part. I'm just trying to be very specific with everything you can do. We're going to add another component. This time it's going to be... we need to pull upon... We can just do text, but we can make the text be something different. Instead of plain text, we're going to show the variable. So for this first one, we're going to look at the variable we're using to store... Actually, hold on. Before I do this, because I changed some stuff in the project, I need to click on reload project. So let me reload project, and when I click on this button, it's taking the data from your game that you should also save it. So you have to save your game and then go here and reload this. And then when you go to here to look at the game data, it will show the new variables that you just created. See, before it didn't show these day-night system stuff, right? Because I hadn't reloaded it. But now that I've reloaded this project in here with this simple purple button, it shows them. So the first thing we'll do is select the year, we'll hit confirm, and now it's going to display the value that's in this variable instead of our custom text. So we'll hit OK, and we'll put this right here. And we'll say, obviously you can resize it and put it however you want it to look. It's up to you to make it as graphical as you want. Let me add a group. We'll go here and click on group. And this is going to be called day, night, my caps lock. Hello. Okay, day, night, sys group. No conditions, yada yada, it doesn't need anything. All it's going to do is hold these informations into it. Boom. So I'm right clicking and dragging. So now I've got them separate so I don't confuse my button stuff with this group. Also, I can move the whole thing around like this. I think what I want to do first is take them out of the group, and I'll show you why. So I take them all out of the group. Now I can move the group box individually, and I'll put the group box right next to where I want it to be. Like this is close enough. And now I'll drag them back in here. Oops, I have to do it like this. Yep. You kind of like drag it to the right. It's a little weird at first, but it's easy once you understand. You have to like right click, hold, and then drag it up and to the right a little bit. And that like links it into. So now when I click on this box, it moves all of our components around very nice and easy, because it would be very frustrating to have to move them all individually when you just want to put them at the top and then say, no, I don't like how it looks. You got to move them all to the bottom, and you get one pixel off, and then your OCD player gets mad at you because it's one pixel off, and it's a big nightmare just to avoid that. Delicious water. Just avoid that with a group. So text ID, what is this one supposed to be? Day, night, system, year. So this is going to be called day, night, we'll just say this is year, because now that we put them in a group, it's easy to handle that. So this will be called year. This one will be called year, month, day. So let's rename this to year, month, day. Year, month, day. That'll work. I'm just changing the name in this editor to help me understand and remember what the hell I'm doing. Hour, minute, second. Okay. We'll click on here. We'll add another component, and we'll hit text, and we're going to say this is our month. And in here, we'll use the variable data. We'll select our game month. Hit OK. Boom. There we go. This goes in here. Once we have it where we like it, we right click and move it into the group. And let's just copy paste now. So the month, all we have to do is change this to day. Over here, we change the variable that we're selecting to the day. You can see what we're doing now, right? And we don't look, there's a million options, but you don't have to use any of the options. You can change the colors, you can change all kinds of stuff. You can make it animated. We're gonna make it as basic and as quick as possible. It says 1, 2, 3, but it's going to read the variable. So it'll start off with 1, 1, 1. Because of our initialization event. Let me know if I'm missing any critical text. So
somebody asked the question if you can do a skill tree without a plugin.
Can you make a skill tree without a plugin? Yeah, sure you can. That's going to take another, a bit of time. So I want to have something to show before we run out of time. So let me do this, and if we have time, we can look at that next. We're going to be doing more stuff. We'll be doing this quite a bit. All right, what would be the next thing? We're just going to put in an hour. So let's copy this, paste this, double click, change this to hour. Go here, change the variable to hour. Okay, confirm. Okay, And then we move this over here. So we've got year, month, day, hour. Let's go to minute, copy this, paste this, double click, change this to minute. And we click on the right variable for that. Okay, confirm. We move it. Oh shit, where's it at? If we lose the place, you can also click right here and it'll show you where it's at. It put it all the way up here for some weird reason. That's fine. And then we can right click, bring that in. And finally, we'll copy, paste this one, double click, change it to second. And find the right variable that we're storing our second. We don't need to look at frames, but you can continue to show the frames. I don't think you need to. Second's going to move every second. You don't want to see numbers counting to 0 to 60 every second, but you could. Hey, Wasif, Ambrose, Sammy, DVD. I see you guys. Been doing a lot of web dev stuff. That's cool. You doing full stack? Or are you just doing some back end stuff? That's what she said. So now that they're all in the group, wait, hold up. 1 second. Now that they're all in the group, I can move the entire system with this one little button with the group box. So if I don't like it here, I can put it up here. I can put it down here. It's really good to put them in groups. So I suppose we should handle the entire group with maybe a switch to turn it off and turn it on. That would be the next thing. But let's see if it works. I need to save my project a couple of times. Save my project a couple times. Maybe 7. 7 is good. 12 is better. The more you save, the better. This is how it works. Just kidding. You only need to do it once. Then we can load the game. Full stack. That's sick. It's good. So we should see... Look at this. Look at our time system. We are on year 1, month 1, day 1, hour 0, minute 0, second 0. And you can get rid of these top ones if you want, so you don't have to actually have to show all of the text. I'm just being very transparent here. And you can put little colons in there to make it look more timey, yeah. So you can present it.
You could just put date, time.
Mm-hmm.
And consolidate all that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's consolidate it now. But I wanted to be very clear with that.
It looks good. It's cool.
And it's up to you to decide how you want it to look. But here's how you make it happen, right? So look, we've put in a time system. And now that we have a time system, it's not just arbitrary numbers, because with those arbitrary numbers that we put in, we can control what happens. We can tint the screen. We can run conditionals. We can make stuff happen based on conditional branch check variable. If day is equal to 7, then run this one-time auto run. You can do all kinds of other stuff once you've once you understand how to do basic conditionals and you set up this simple system. Yeah, come join us in the Discord. Links in the description below. So I'm not going to push for any farther with the day-night system right now. I just wanted to put it in. Oh, one more thing. Say you want to make it, but you don't always want to show it. We do need to make a conditional. So how we can do that is one simple switch. Let's go to any event, because we're going to delete this. But what we want to do is go to control switches, and then go to the next switch, and then we'll have day, night, toggle. Day-night sys show or show hide. This is going to determine. This is a switch that'll be on or off, and we're going to use it to turn off the show. Like if we want to pause time, we just turn off this switch, the day-night system. But if we want to keep the time running but not always show the time, like in a cutscene, we're going to use another switch called show hide or something like that. Show time, hide time. Something like that. It doesn't really matter. We hit OK, we hit OK. We don't really need to put that in an event right now. We just needed to create it and know what number we're using so we can save the game, and then we can go to the Hud Maker and reload the project. Once we've reloaded the project, it will know that switch exists and let us do stuff with it. Well, what do we want to do with it? If we set a switch display conditions right here, that will allow us to basically turn it off. Turn off the display. It's still time's going to be ticking, right? So we go into here, double click that. We set the conditions to check a switch, and we're going to select to see if the switch is on. And if the switch day-night show hide is on, then we will show it. And we're going to do that for all of them. So I'll just do that real quick. If it's on, do that. Oops, sorry about that.
Claus, RPG Maker is so much fun. It's like the most bestest game I've ever played in my whole life. It's not even a game, it's like a game that you can make games with. It's just it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a game engine, but it's also a game in itself.
Yeah.
I find it very fun, just like a game.
Mm-hmm.
Did I set all of them right? Day, night, sis, day, night, sis, day, night, sis, day, night, sis. And then I got to do hour, display conditions, double click, check switch, check this show hide switch. See that if it's on, then show it. And then that is going to be for hour. Let's go to minute. Do the same thing. Conditions, set them to be a switch. If this switch is on, show it. Okay, okay, okay. And then for the second, right here, check switch. If it's on, show it, show it, show it, show it. Okay. And then we save it, save this project, save here, and we'll hit OK. Guess what? Our day-night system will be off. Why is it off? Because we did not turn on the switch in our initialization event. So maybe in our intro, we don't want it to show the time. Maybe we want that to happen at a certain point. So at the beginning, it's going to start counting the time, but it's not going to show the time until we say show the time. So let's go to the map that we were on, our $5 map that Nat inspired us to make. And we'll make it an auto run erase event, or you can do it however you want. This is just to illustrate. Actually, let's not do auto run. Let's make it so that we can turn it off and turn it on. We'll make a guy, we'll call him the timekeeper. Here we go. This is the timekeeper direction fix. Nope, not stepping, direction fix. Timekeeper. And what it'll do is it will run a conditional. And the conditional will check a switch. It will see, is the show hide on? And we'll do an else branch. If the show hide is on, turn it off. Control switch, turn off the show hide. And then otherwise, turn on. So if it's off, this will turn as an else, and then we'll turn it on. So we talk to him again over and over. This is a simple conditional controller. This is like a light switch right here, real simple. When we talk to him, it'll turn it on. If it's off. If it's on, then it'll turn it off. So it's off, right? We talk to him. Boom. The time is on. But watch, we're on second 5. I turned it off. But time should still be going. So we turn it back on. Hey, we're on second 9, 10, 11. We turn it off. You see how it goes away? Now we have control if we want to display it or not. Time doesn't stop. We can stop time if we turn a different switch off. But we can keep time going. We can also pause time if we go here. If you look right here, our time for in-game keeps going, but our day-night system pauses while we're in the menu. 23. You see how it says 33? It's 24 because I was paused for 10 seconds. So also if you get in a battle, it will pause the time. I don't know how to get around that exactly with the way that we're doing this as a parallel counting variables. And I don't think it really matters that much, right? In fact, you want to give the player the ability to pause in case things are time sensitive, right? They got to pee, they got to get up, they got life, they got to do.
Absolutely.
So your game time can keep going, but then the day-night system will pause for you. So the game has been running for a minute, but it's only 44 seconds and game has passed.
DVD Code Academy is good, but also don't look up Free Code Camp as well. That one's also pretty good.
Free Code Camp. Mm-hmm.
They have different learning styles. Code Academy is more like bite-sized, and Free Code Camp's more like learn to swim, and they throw you in a pool. And depends on what kind of learning style that you like.
Yeah.
I personally prefer the whole getting thrown headlong into a pool to learn something.
Okay. Everyone heard that.
Real,
so when
except for in real life because I'm afraid of water.
Oh shit. I say everyone heard that. So when I throw tea in the water,
I'm like a chimpanzee. I sink to the bottom like a rock.
you don't have any fat on you. You need more fat.
I can't swim to save my
You
life.
need fat to float, okay?
But anyways, the learning style, if you like a more fast pace, figure it out as you go, do research and like build thing learning style, then Free Code Camp's the way to go. If you like the more step-by-step ABC, learn how to read kind of learning style, then Code Academy. That's my opinion on it.
Yep. So I'm sure I missed some text. I'm going to let this day-night system just bask in the glory of itself running, and I'm going to read some chat real quick. Dun, dun.
They both have merit, and if you do use Free Code Camp, definitely take advantage of their social media because there's a lot of active people that are more than happy to help you solve the problems that you run into.
If we wanted to make difficulty levels with different enemy spawns or any other variables, depending on the difficulty, how would that work? It's simple, one variable. So that's a great question, Zen Jester. Let me show you. So at the beginning of the game, you can prompt the player with the show text or something, right? Let's see if we can do a text right here. It might show choices. We'll put it on hard mode, and we'll just do hard mode, easy mode to make it simple. Easy mode. Right, let's see if that'll happen. I think it would. And then what we'll do is, well, for 2, you would use a switch, but let's do 3 so that you can have multiple difficulties. Let's do in streamer mode, which is super easy mode, okay? So we'll have 3. That way we use a variable and it makes more sense instead of using a switch. When you only have 2 options, you should use a switch. So this time we're going to use a variable because we have 3 things that we want to keep track of. We want a hard mode, easy mode, or streamer mode. All you're going to do is control a variable, and we're going to call this variable difficulty mode, and it'll be 0 by default. But what we're going to do is set it to 3, 2, or 1. The number is arbitrary. It doesn't really matter. 2 or 1. But what we want to do when you give them the difficulty mode option is to disallow cancel. So you don't want them to cancel out of the difficulty mode selection, otherwise it'll be set to 0 and it'll mess up this whole system. Unless you make like the easiest mode 0, then when they cancel out, it sets to the easiest mode. So now when the game starts, it's going to say, it's going to show choices, hard mode, easy mode, streamer mode. That's the simplest, most straightforward way to do that. Well, how do you control that? Well, now when you get into an event, a battle, let's go with this guy. It's going to toggle the time, but that's fine. We'll also make this guy a multi-purpose thing. So it's going to start a battle. But what we're going to do first is a conditional branch. So we're going to check that variable, difficulty mode. Is difficulty mode equal to 3? We're going to use an else branch here, just for whatever reason. If it's equal to 3, if not, we're going to copy paste it inside of itself because there's only so many times, so you're only going to have so many nests, so you can nest here. It won't be a big problem. And boom. The last time you won't need a else branch. So what this is going to say when we activate him, it's going to say, if you're in difficulty mode 3, do this. Otherwise, if you're in 2, do this. Otherwise, if you're in 1, do this. And the last one doesn't need else handler. But what do you want it to do? Well, this is you would put this on your battle events. So let's go to battle processing, and then this would be you kind of copy paste your enemies, right? So I can do that too. I'll show you what I would do. So here's our story fights. I've got, let's just use the Forest Bee. No, let's use the Death Worm because he's kind of cool. So we'll do the Death Worm here. And what we would need is 3 difficulty modes. So you're going to have the Death Worm in all of these, but you would copy paste that in your troops or in your enemies. And you'd also have to do troops. So this would be your actual fights. And then underneath you would have difficulty mode 3. And this is like just a placeholder. This is just difficulty 3. And we'll put it like that. And then underneath all of those enemies, you have difficulty 2. You're going to want to do something like this. You may think you don't need to do this, but it'll help you remember where the hell everything's at. And then all of your other enemies that'll be in difficulty 1, difficulty you don't have to do it like the same like slashes. This is not code or anything. This is not like syntax to make it do something different. This is just so when I look at it, I know that the enemies underneath here are the 3rd level difficulty. The enemies underneath here are the 2nd difficulty. You know what I mean? So when you, the dev, look at this, you can stay organized. So what I would do is take the death worm, copy him here, paste it here, paste it here, paste it here. Now you have manual control over how you can make these enemies stronger. So let's say difficulty 3, he's this level, but difficulty 2, he's only got 500 HP. And then streamer mode, he only has 200 HP, or even if you want to, whatever you want to do. And he even hits weaker. And you can say that he hits weaker. And then you see what I'm doing here is I'm reducing their stats. The easier it goes, the more I'm dropping their stats down. Boom. So he's got 11, 12, 11, 11, 10, 10, 9, and less HP. So now when you get into a battle, you get to decide what difficulty they are. Since you specifically asked triggering events like this. Now, if you're doing random encounters, it's a little bit different, but this is the way that you ask, so this is what you get. So this will be the battle for difficulty 3. Oh, one more thing. You can't just create the enemies, you have to create the troops as well. So you probably want to use the same numbers to help you remember. You don't have to use the same numbers, but it helps me. So I'm using 209, I'm using them down here. Troops, go down to 209. I would make it look a little bit prettier if I was really, doing this. I don't plan to do this in my game, but you can make it prettier. And so you would copy, you don't want to copy your troops because it'll bring the same guys in. So for difficulty 3, you're going to go to the enemy you made at 210, and you add that enemy. Boom, auto name. And then you can scroll down, and we see at 216, we have got difficulty 2. And then right here, we will add the death worm, which is at difficulty 2. And then we scroll down, we see at 222. You see why I want to just do it? Because it helps you stay organized. Difficulty 1. And then 223, we add you don't need to put the same numbers, it just helps. Now when you go to your battle processing for what you fight on difficulty 3, you're going to select that one. Boom, boom. And then right here, you would select the difficulty 2 one, because that's the difficulty 2. Difficulty mode 1, you select the difficulty mode 1, difficulty 1. So now when you fight this guy, he's going to fight you with the worm, he's going to fight you with the enemy of the difficulty that the player has selected. Let's see if the initialization event will show the choices. I believe it will. Doesn't it do it right off the bat? Yeah, look. So you right off the bat, you start what mode you want to be in. Let's put it in streamer mode. So now if we fight this guy, he's going to be, look, 250. You can see I have the Hud Maker on here. So he's got 250 HP because we're on streamer mode, and we just smash him, right? So let's go ahead and restart the game, and let's put it on easy mode, and we get into a fight. Now, look at this. His stats are different. He's got 500 HP. Do you see how we just so quickly made a difficulty setting in our game? Like super freaking easy. Now it's like medium difficulty. Right? Let's restart the game and let's test to see if it works so we did it right. Hard mode.
Ambrose, I'm going to put a link in the chat for you, and it's a basics tutorial series that goes over pretty much everything you could think of for beginning to make your game. So
yeah, we put together a nice comprehensive 24 tutorial series of like the bare bone stuff you should know before you really get started. And it's very valuable. Some of our best work. We're really proud of it, and we'd love for you to check it out.
Yeah, these are broken up into bite-sized chunks. So if you're looking for something specific, you don't have to watch like hours and hours of videos. If you just want switches and variables, well, we've got let's see. MZ the Basics, how to use switches tutorial. MZ the Basics, how to use variables.
Right.
So you just watch those two, and you'll have a lot of information.
Absolutely.
On those two subjects.
Vino with a $5 super chat saying, reminder to the non-US viewers, US rolls their clocks back on Sunday, so anyone not adjusting to their clocks, Monday stream will be an hour later than normal.
Oh, we are?
That's right. I don't even keep track of that. Luckily, technology tells me what time it is.
Yeah.
Because I wake up and I don't know. So that's basically it. We're going to cut the stream now. But you can see we put it in hard mode, and he has 1,000 HP. So that's our. We did some really good systems today. We came up with good questions, and because I'm using the enemy levels plugin, I leveled up, so the enemy leveled up, so their stats will also grow proportionately to the stats in the plugin parameters, which is something different. But the mode will make a huge difference on how much HP they have towards the end. So that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys found this stream informative and helpful in some way. If you have, you can back us on Patreon. We have a link in the description. Come join us on Discord. We have thousands of people who join us there, and there's usually about 600, 700, 800 people. I don't think we hit 800, but it's getting there. It'll happen. I'd love to see you guys join. Come talk to us there. If you can, if you have questions, we are always around answering them whenever we all throughout the day. We are constantly coming back to Discord.
Yeah.
Even though we're super busy, and hopefully that calms down over the next month or so.
Yes.
So I would love to have you come join us on Discord. If you'd like us to play your game on stream for our first impression, that's a reward for the $20 tier on our Patreon. That price is going up to $30 on 2021, which we announced months ago. So you can get grandfathered in at $20 a month if you want to. Those are still there. But after that, only the people who have already backed us at that level and currently doing the $20 level will receive that. Everything else will be $10 higher, and that's the way it is, and I'm sorry, that's just how it's going to go. But if you don't have money, don't fret. You can still get us to do a first impression on your game. We coded a bot on Discord called Cyber Baron, and it's a cool little bot where it's got exponential growth. It's like you buy properties and sell properties, and you can get points, and those points accumulate over time, and follow the system !help, and you'll get the information on how to use the system. Plus, people are very friendly, and you can ask about it. Basically, TLDR, you play our game on Discord, and we will play your game. It costs 1,000,000 points, which you can get.
Yep. So if you can't afford a first impression, you can still get one anyway.
You can still get it done for free. It just takes time and interacting on our Discord server. We'd love to have you guys come join us on Discord. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Join us on Discord, back us on Patreon, and we love you guys very much. Thank you so much. I'm gonna read the name of the chat. $40 freaking dollars.
Whoa!
Assumed identity dropping $40 at the end of the stream. Holy crap, dude! Thank you so much. He says thank you so much for the info on learning code. I've been trying to figure out where to start. Love you guys. No, we love you.
Yeah.
You're breathtaking.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing we get a lot of requests for is like basic JS in game. Like some people are like, yeah, I did code camp, but I don't understand how to do it in game because there's a lot of syntax that people don't. Even myself, when I started, I'm like, okay, I understand how to make a calculator online or something, but how do you make a plugin, or how do you code? How do you do a script call? Like it's much different. It's the same, but you have to learn the syntax. Hopefully Archaea and whoever else is going to do it is going to make the sheet where we have it's like a little cheat sheet, a script call cheat sheet. Let me give you a link since you asked about stuff like that. Before we go, I'm going to find it really quick. It's a cheat sheet that I use quite often for MV. I haven't used it too much lately because I've been doing everything in MV. MZ rather, but here's the link. Let me copy this over. I can close it. I'm going to put a link in the chat right here for you, Assumed, and anybody else. You probably already have it. This is the cheat sheet that I believe Archaea made this. Didn't she do that? The cheat sheet, the syntax cheat sheet.
For MV?
For MV?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called the script call list.
Script call list, right? Well, you can see it in here. Yeah, that's a great place to go to understand the syntax. Like what's capitalized. It's basically all camel case, lowercase first letter, and then every new word after that. It's all one word smashed together, and it gets capitalized after that. And if you're referencing something that's been aliased with a different name, you usually have them set as $. A lot of it is really useful if you open up Sublime or VS Code, and you just open here's a great tip. Get an IDE if you don't already have one. There's several free ones. I recommend VS Code. $10 super chat from Sammy Gardner. Thank you so much, Sammy. I appreciate that $10. For those of you who are trying to get into code and stuff, it's really good to just look.
Thank you, Sammy.
Just look at the code. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go File, open a file, and the file we want to open once you have... I used Sublime for a long time, but I like VS Code now. I feel like it runs faster, smoother. You want to go into your games folder, go to the JS, and then you have all of these files. You don't need to look at plugins, but you can look at the core, managers, objects. Let's go to the core. We open this up, and you're going to see lots of stuff. I mean, if you have any JS understanding, you can see what's commented out and what a lot of this stuff actually does. Excuse me. But actually, I'm going to scroll down to... It's not the main. This is what kind of holds it all together. I want to show you the objects. So the objects get aliased, and you can reference them. I guess the objects are all set up like that. Is it the managers? It's the managers. Oh yeah, it's the managers. Okay, so this is using it's pulling JSON data so that you can access the JSON data. And there's two things to remember when you're pulling data. The game has its own game data, and then the project has its own project data. I guess we need to do this at a different time because I need to really get into more about it. But
oh yeah, you guys come back tomorrow. Are we doing?
We're doing a first impression tomorrow.
We're doing a first impression tomorrow. The next day is another dev stream.
Thursday we may be taking off because I have an eye doctor's appointment.
Right, we might take Thursday off. If we do stream, it'll be very, very.
It'll be a quick stream. If, maybe we don't, but we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys posted.
And then Friday is another first impression.
Friday is another first impression.
Right. So Monday would be the next full dev stream as long as we don't get another first impression over the weekend, right?
We do have one. The person's not ready, though.
Right,
okay.
Right. But we do dev streams pretty often. You guys can come and ask questions. And, of course, like always, come to our Discord. That's where we're the absolute most active.
Right. We're only active for an hour to 2 hours during the week. Monday through Friday, we stream at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the regular. And thank you guys for tuning in. Ambrose I was going to do it again. Ambrose Vlogs with the... Shut up. I say Vlogs. I just can't not say Vlogs. It's Ambrose.
It's adorable.
Ambrose Vlogs, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate that at the end. It's very nice of you guys.
Thank you, Ambrose.
You guys are very generous. I love you guys.
So much.
We're going to read the names off the chat and let you guys go. And yeah, just download an IDE and just look at this and be like,
Look at it.
Look at it. I mean, I don't know what it means, but if you stare at it long enough, you'll start to understand some things. Believe me. Also, you should probably just do Free Code Camp and Code Academy if you like that one, and just check it out. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Rich Racer 2, thank you so much for tuning in. Anybody who I missed, apologize in the future. I'm going to. It did cut off some of the chat, but we're going to scroll up and read the names. Assumed Identity, love you, dude. Thank you so much. I saved this stream to my playlist to look back on it. Cool, thank you. I appreciate all the eyes on the channel. Those of you who are just lurking and you don't want to say anything, I appreciate you turning up and showing up and bumping that number up again. Rich Racer 2, Ambrose, Vino, of course, my dude. Thank you so much, Vino. Appreciate it. Song of the Loot, Sammy Gardner. Thank you for the $10, Sammy. Wolf Emblem Studios. Thank you so much. Assumed Identity. Always a pleasure, my dude. Thank you so much. Joshua Wright, thank you so much for tuning in. Kira, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. Polka Latte, the early birds. I saw you from the beginning to the end, Polka. Thank you for tuning in and being so active. Good luck with your projects and stuff. Song of the Loot, Zen Jester, you had a lot of good questions today. I hope I was helpful. And you said I was a huge help. It's always good to hear. You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in.
Vino with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. He says vlog.
Vlogs. Shut up.
Yes, Vino. Yes.
You guys shut up.
Yes.
Son
I
Papa.
approve of this message.
How do you say that name? Bukuku? Bukuku? I'm probably not saying that right. But Son Kappa, thank you so much for tuning in. I see you there. Song of the Loot, Joshua, Ambrose, Claus, Thomas, Kessler, thank you so much. Can an NPC say different things depending on how many times you talk to them or if you get at a different point? Absolutely. That's a super easy one to do. And if I had more time and I wasn't saying goodbye right now, I would totally show you how to do that. You use a variable, simple. You make a show text you set the variable to 0 for the first time. You don't have to actually set it. But then when you talk to them, you add 1 to it. And then you run a conditional when you talk to them again. And you say, if the variable is 2, then say this. If the variable is 3, say this. That's a simple way. There's like a million ways to do that. You can also have it call a common event and have it have your NPC pull from a whole like a huge list of things they could say. So what they say is always random. Another $20 super chat from Vino. Also, big shout out to the new members of the super chat crew. I know there's some new people showing up. You guys are awesome.
You guys
Thank
are
you, Vino,
awesome. Thank you, Vino.
Dropping another 20 on us. We appreciate it. I love you, Vino. God. So much love. So much love. Love you guys. Damn. DVD. Thank you so much for tuning in. Song of the Loot. Brian Perez, I see you there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I feel like I owe them a song.
Thank you for
I'm gonna have to give them a song after this.
Gotta give the super chat crew a song.
So much super chat crew. I
Yeah.
gotta give them a beautiful serenading ending. Trav, thank you so much. Wasif Khan, it's good to see you again. Thank you for tuning in, Wasif. Skinny Hasselhoff, that's a new name. Thank you so much for tuning in. I may have seen you before. I just don't see you talking very much. Thank you so
That's
much.
a fabulous name.
Yeah, that's great. Assumed identity, of course, my dude. Thank you so much, Assumed. DVD, Polka Latte, Zen Jester, some good questions. Thank you guys. Scrolling up. Alexander Crawley, of course, you had some great questions. Thank you so much. Joshua Wright, Smo Valadorn, Veroclaw, Team Shadows, Ikumin, Sebja, thank you so much for tuning in. Kip Icon, always a pleasure, guys. And Kira, I said Kira. Thank you so much. Who else? Was that it? That was it. Thank you guys. Let's do a serenading outro. I already recorded a sample. I don't want to record another one. We're just going to use the same one. I see Ambrose.
You gotta do a super chat one.
A super chat one? But like,
Thank you for joining the stream. You guys are amazing.
I mean, it's already good, right? You can't hear it because I already did a good one at the beginning. I'm gonna
Okay.
just play them one.
Okay.
I got a good sample. I just Yeah, I got a good sample. I just need to like pause the music because obviously it sounds terrible if you have two musics playing at the same time. So let's stop the music. All right, guys, let's do a serenading song.
Thank you for joining the stream. You guys are amazing, and I hope you have a good time chilling with us on the stream. Please ask us any questions you have about RPG Maker. Thank you for joining the stream. You guys are amazing, and I hope you have a good time chilling with us on the stream. Please ask us any questions you have about RPG Maker. Thank you for joining the stream. You guys are amazing, and I hope you have a good time chilling with us on the stream. Please ask us any questions you have about RPG Maker. Thank you for joining the stream. You guys are amazing, and I hope you have a good time chilling with us on the stream. Please ask us any questions you have about RPG Maker.
Yeah. That was actually the Final Fantasy.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining this. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for joining the stream. You guys are amazing, and I hope you have a good time chilling with us on the stream. Thank you for joining the stream. You guys are amazing, and I hope you have a good time chilling with us on the stream. Please ask us any questions you have about RPG Maker.
Bye, guys.